Yo, 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 what is going on, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love? My name is Jamal Pope, aka J Phoenix, and this is going to be your astrology forecast for the weekend of September 2nd and the 3rd of 2023. Trusting you guys had a wonderful week, trusting you guys have a wonderful Labor Day weekend if you're here in the States, or wherever you are, trusting you guys have a great weekend. First, I want to give a shout out to my dad. It's his birthday today, so I'm here at his place, and we're gonna have a little party here and stuff like that. It's gonna be really fun. So they've been planning this for a while, so just wanted to give a shout out to my dad. Love you, Dad. Thank you for everything that you have done for me. Just super grateful to have you in my life. I really am, like, one of the few people I could talk to about deeper spiritual matters, and you don't look at me like I'm crazy. So so enjoy your day. Love you, Dad, so much. But yeah, I just wanted to give you a quick shout out. But yeah, let's go ahead and hop into the video. This one's gonna be a little bit more of a channeling, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not really showing any charts or anything like that, but let's go ahead and talk about it. You know, at the current moment, we do have that moon in Aries. It shifted into Aries yesterday, and it's going to make the conjunction today with Chiron and the North Node in Eris. We also have it's going to be moving into Taurus, of course, tomorrow, and that's going to be interesting, you know. So we're going to have Venus tomorrow finally come out of its retrograde, right? But then less than 13 hours, you know, coming into Monday, Jupiter is going to station retrograde. So we have two planets that are stationing over the next 48 to 72 hours. We have a moon that's going to go over top of Jupiter as it's coming into its retrograde, as it's stationing retrograde. And, you know, this is definitely going to be an interesting time for all of us. You can definitely feel that something is really about to kick off. And maybe you can even feel like something may even be like amiss. It's like there's like this sort of splinter in the mind right now, and we're trying to figure out what exactly it is. You know, we do have a Mercury that's retrograde here in Virgo, and Mercury and the Sun are going to be getting closer and closer to each other now. And that's going to help to burn away any impurities in, you know, the thought realms, where we're going back to the drawing board. I've been saying this a lot, how Mercury in retrograde in Virgo, we're going back to the drawing board in many ways. And this could definitely be a time, because since it is Virgo season, you know, this is definitely a time where we can look at our life and make edits and actually mutate some things. This is a mutable earth sign, right? But it comes down to the physical reality. So this is why it's really important to kind of check your daily habits, and because those daily habits are going to contribute to your vibe. You know, how do you wake up in the morning? How do you go to sleep? What are your rituals, if you will? Because this is definitely going to be a time, especially coming off of that very intense full moon in Pisces. I'm sure that you all felt it. For me, it was actually a very peaceful moon in Pisces. And by that, I mean that I spent a lot of time by myself. And that was, I guess you could say, by design. You know, the store that I was working in is one of the slowest stores in the company, and I just worked it by myself for 2 days straight, which allowed me a lot of time to just kind of chill and kind of think to myself and everything. Definitely kind of went into a bit of a hermit mode, and perhaps you're feeling like you want to go into hermit mode too, and it kind of makes sense, right? We have all of these planets that are retrograde right now, and this can definitely make you want to go more inward. But if you are also if you're not really used to looking more inward, if you're not used to introspection, this time's going to be pretty rough. I can't tell you how many times I like talk to people, like guests that come in, and you know, THC can make you introspective, right? So some people don't necessarily like feeling too high and stuff like that, because it makes them like overly introspective. They start thinking a lot, right? Me, I've been introspective pretty much my whole damn life. Now THC can definitely take it to another level, so I even have to be careful when it comes to that. But there are a lot of people in this world that don't really like looking in the mirror. They don't like looking within themselves. They don't like in the introspection, probably because they're judging themselves too hard, or they're being overly critical on themselves. This is a time to be grateful for, though. With so many planets that are retrograde, and even though it definitely feels like we're at the edge of a cliff, or if anything, we're like pretty much over the cliff at this point, wondering if someone's going to catch us, if there's like a trampoline at the bottom. It can definitely feel like, let's see, the sun's like shifting, so now I gotta like lean in a little bit. It can definitely feel like, you know, we're at the end of our rope in many ways. It can definitely feel like it's like, yo, why? We're just all looking for a breakthrough. We're all looking for something to kind of clamber onto, some sense of comfort to kind of hold on to make sense of the craziness that's happening around us and the craziness that's about to come. And we all can sense it. Everyone is psychic. Everyone has extrasensory capabilities. It's whether or not you choose to develop those extrasensory capabilities. Acknowledge that they are there. But you can feel it. We all can feel that something's happening, right? Animals can tell. Animals can tell when the weather's about to shift, when like a tornado's about to come or a hurricane's about to come. They can feel it. They can feel it in the atmosphere. Similarly to us, when it comes down to these spiritual energies, the spiritual weather, we can feel it as well. It's just whether or not we choose to ignore what's about to come, or we choose to respond differently to what's about to come. Because ultimately, we are all under the same influences, astrologically, right? Now, we were, of course, all born in different times, have different capabilities and propensities as well, but we were all born under the stars. We were all influenced by it. So, no one person is better than another person. I know that may seem crazy because there are some people out here that definitely claim to be better than others, and you know, that's the funny thing too. Like, I think we all choose, of course, what we put our energy into. Like, I'm never going to be able to beat LeBron James in a one-on-one match. It's just not going to happen, right? But we are still both under the same stars, the same planets, the same celestial energies, which means that we both have our triumphs, our defeats, our victories, our pains, our traumas. We're all in this together. And it comes down to whether or not you accept and embrace your unique puzzle piece to this. Because if you try and go out and be someone else's puzzle piece, try to be something that you're not, it fucks up the whole game for everyone. That's why it's so important to be as authentic as possible. That's why it's so important to be in your own power, right? Because when you are in your own power, when you are resonating in that frequency and you start to understand that your vibe attracts your tribe, you'll find yourself into some pretty awesome places when you start to get very intentional about it. So this whole weekend is about being intentional about that and preparing for what's about to come. Venus is coming out of its retrograde, which is going to be a blessing. You know, this Venus retrograde was a doozy, right? A lot of self-reflection, a lot of addressing self-love, whether or not we can accept and embrace ourselves, being honest about what we're attracted to, being honest about what we may not be attracted to, and how can we work with these things. There were a lot of breakups. There are probably a fair amount of people getting together as well. I'm not sure if these things would last, honestly, in a Venus retrograde. I don't necessarily recommend people getting together during a Venus retrograde, let alone in Leo for the first time in like over 200 years, where it's only in Leo, right? In the sun, and it conjuncted the sun too during this transit as well. So there was certainly a purification moment over this last month, and you can feel that. Now, what happens though when you get purified? You're probably sensitive afterwards, right? Because you're not hardened anymore. It's like you're shedding your skin, so you're sensitive as fuck. That's why you want to hide away from the light. That's why you want to, you know, crawl into like a hole and recover. Now with all these planets retrograde, we are pretty much being forced inward, but at the same time, based off of the way that we respond, will pretty much determine how we start to move and interact within this new world, this new environment. Jupiter is about to come retrograde on Monday, right? And it's going to feel deflating for a lot of people. If you really think about it too, with all these planets retrograde, let's just think about it, right? Alright, let's just go through the zodiac, right? The ruler of Aries, Mars, is moving forward, moving fast. It's in Libra, and it's detriment, right? Okay, so at least we have that planet moving forward. Taurus, ruled by Venus, retrograde, but it's about to come out of its shadow. Well, not about to come out of its shadow. It's about to come out of its retrograde. It's about to station direct, but it's going to be stuck at 12 degrees for a while. Gemini, ruled by Mercury. Mercury's retrograde. Cancer, ruled by the moon. The moon doesn't retrograde, but the moon makes tough aspects too, right? So we have that going, and the moon is always involved in eclipses, so you have that aspect too. Leo, the sun, doesn't retrograde, okay? Virgo, which is ruled by Mercury, Mercury's in its sign and it's retrograde. Libra, once again, ruled by Venus, about to come out of its, retrograde phase, but it's going to be, like I said, it's going to be stuck for a few days. It's going to be stuck for a while at 12 degrees. Scorpio, ruled by Pluto, it's retrograde. But Scorpio at least has Mars also as a traditional ruler. That is moving forward, but it's in Libra and it's in Scorpio's 12th house. So that makes things interesting for Scorpio. Sagittarius, its ruling planet Jupiter, about to go retrograde in Taurus. About to feel deflating. Capricorn, Saturn is retrograde in Pisces. Aquarius, Uranus is retrograde in Taurus. Pisces, Neptune is retrograde in sign. So just about every single sign is not necessarily feeling at its full strength right now. Not necessarily feeling at its full strength. The only signs that are doing somewhat alright, honestly, are Leos, because the sun never retrogrades, right? I guess you could say Cancer, but it's still dealing with the Pluto that's in opposition to it. And Cancers have been getting freaking gaslighted for like the last 15 years. So you have Cancer. Like I said, the moon doesn't retrograde, but it moves super, super fast, so you have to deal with that. I guess Taurus is going to start feeling a little bit better because Venus is about to come out of its retrograde, but it's still going to be stuck for a while. And Taurus already doesn't like to move, so Taurus is going to feel even extra stuck. Especially considering the fact that this Venus is going to be, in its 4th house, so there's going to be like some emotional stuckness right there, some unwillingness to move outside of comfort zones. So Taurus isn't necessarily going to be feeling the strongest either. Now it does have Jupiter and Uranus there, but they're about to be retrograde, right? Scorpio, yeah, it's ruling planet Pluto's retrograde, but at least it has Mars, but Mars is in its detriment in Libra, which is the 12th house of Scorpio, right? So Scorpios right now are like pretty much fighting unseen battles, and Scorpios are essentially like in spiritual courtrooms right now defending themselves, right? There's not a whole lot of power from what it seems right now, and that's why everyone kind of feels a bit crazy, except for Leos, because their ruling planet doesn't retrograde, right? It's the sun. It's in Virgo, has some power there. Venus is in Leo right now. It's about to come forward. So Leo's probably one of the few signs that actually feels decent right now. You could say Aries kind of does too, but its ruling planet is in its opposite sign, so it's like flipped in reverse. Now, Aries does have the North Node there in Eris, but it also has Chiron there. So even Aries is feeling off. Everyone's feeling off right now. And that's okay. The reason why we're feeling off is because we're about to birth a new reality. And we're coming into new territory. So naturally, that could cause a bit of anxiety, apprehension, and some people may want to just cling on to the past. And overly clinging onto the past can cause some depression. This is a time where we really want to just pay attention to the present moment. Because this present moment is beautiful, and there's so many things in this present moment to tap into. So much knowledge to tap into this present moment. Just looking around me and just looking at, first of all, the beauty here that my dad has created, because my dad's a Virgo, right? So he's really great about organizing and just I gotta like show you guys like all the stuff that he does. Like he does all of this stuff, right? He does all of this stuff. That's actually kind of crazy. I'm gonna just give you guys an example, you know, because even though, like I said, Leo is the one that probably feels the best, the sun is in Virgo right now. So Virgos have a lot of power right now too. But just, he does all of this. You see this? He's very intentional about this. This is his meditation. And this is something that really inspires me. This is just the backyard too. This isn't even all of it. But he did all of this. All of the beds here, all the planting, the manicuring of everything. This is his work. This is his artwork. So we have to find something similarly that allows us to tap into that space, so we can tap into our co-creative abilities. All of these things, these plants and everything like this right here, these things were here. He didn't create those things, but what he did was he arranged everything in a beautiful way. So similarly, we have to find those things and become that co-creator so we can arrange things in a beautiful way as well. That's really what this time is about. Tapping into the present moment, not getting too stuck on the past and not getting too worried about the future, because the past is the past and we can't per se control the future. We can have plans, we can have a vision, we can move towards those things, but the only way that those visions and stuff like that actually come to fruition is if we are very intentional in the now and in the present. That's the only way. So if you're feeling like you're on the edge right now, if you're feeling like the world's gone mad, it's gone crazy, first of all, it's always been this way. I think it's a travesty that people don't want to have kids because they're like, this world is too crazy, why would I want to bring kids into it? When we are living in probably the safest and most secure times in human history, at least in the last 2,000 years. It's never been safer to come into this world. The thing is that we get bombarded with communication via the internet, and we'll hear about stories that are happening in places 2, 3, 4, 5,000 miles away or on the other side of the world, and then we're like, oh shit, fuck, this world's crazy, why do I want to bring a kid into this and experience this? But who said that life wasn't going to have struggle? Not that you want to just struggle all the time. Yeah, there's a lot of suffering in this world. Absolutely. And of course you want to eliminate it. But how do you not know that the kid that you have will be one of the champions of eliminating that suffering? Leaf blower. We have the Knight of Wands. And we also have the card of allowance. When you allow yourself to run towards your passions, when you allow yourself to embrace the current moment and utilize that creativity and that joy, and you allow yourself to be all of who you are without fear of what anyone else will say or think, that's when God really speaks to you. And that spark of the divine that comes from within is so you can't deny it. You can't deny it. And you will more and more every single day want to live from that feeling and that place. There's going to be challenges. It's going to be rough. It's going to be tough. We got mountains to climb. We have things to fix on this planet. But we have nowhere near apexed. We are nowhere near apexed to the capabilities that we have. There is so much more to humanity than what we have currently manifested. So go out there, have fun with it, smile through it, Find reasons to laugh. Appreciate your loved ones. Embrace who you are and allow that part of you, allow that version of yourself, that higher version, which is full of love. Allow that version to come out, because that is what the world needs most right now. We need you, beloved. We need you to be your best self. Trust. Y'all have a great weekend, guys. I'll see y'all on the next video. Peace.